You're listening to NFRN The Drive, your place for NFRN, NASCAR, and motorsport news. Well, good evening everybody, Colin Denton here. This is not a long video, there's not a lot of content in this video, but there is some important information in this video as we are approaching the start of season number 2 of the NFRN with the expansion of 2 extra series. So that we got some deadlines to talk about, and these are going to be important ones. Some of them are crucial for the entire season, and one of them is only important for this first race weekend that involves all 3 series. Now, this is the case of part-time trucks. We've gotten the minimum allotment that we need to have a full 42-car field for the first race at Columbia. But for those that are looking to enter last minute as a part-time truck driver, you have to have your entry in by Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. That is April 12th. To be entered into Columbia. Now, if we don't get any extra signups before that time, that means that all the part-timers that have already signed up are guaranteed a spot in the show. And if not, one of them or 2 of them, or however many sign up between now and Wednesday, there could be some DNQs in the field for that race, but that will all depend on anyone that has not signed up for a car yet and decides to do so now. That will get you into the show at Columbia. Now, if you miss that deadline and you sign up after it, you can still be eligible for the rest of the races, but just not this one, because that will mean that I have actually physically ran the race on my computer. I cannot go back and change it, obviously. Doesn't mean it's this is a deadline that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be aired. Just it has to be run on my computer so I can edit it. And so that's going to be the case for every truck race this season. There's going to be a deadline for anyone that hasn't already gotten a truck at all in the season that has been delayed in the process of finding this series, we'll say. They'll have that deadline per race to sign up and be a part-time contender. Now, also a crucial deadline for teams, and this is the case for all teams and all signups for them. If you are on a team, you can find that in the description. All the teams that are legitimately signed up and are taken and counted for, they are in the description. So if you're not there, you probably didn't sign up right. But if you are still looking for a team, there are still openings. If you have a slot in one of the lower series, there are teams that are allowing drivers to sign up, and they can be entered into Elite Cup Series teams or Amateur Cup Series teams if they've made them. They can join those teams. And also, within a series, drivers can create teams. And that's only the case if you have the driver's email. You need to make sure that you're actually communicating with other drivers, finding out their contact info, and then signing up for the team on the provided link. But obviously, if you can't find somebody, there's always a team that can be joined from those Elite Cup Series or possibly Amateur Cup Series teams, depending on who has allowed those feeder teams to flow down from it. So all of those links are down in the description. That deadline is also Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, April 12th. But that deadline is final. There will be no changing of teams after that point. Now, it could be possible that if you do join a team that is above your rank, that it might take them a little longer to approve the driver, and I will allow that, because as long as you have actually made that commitment to try to join the team and someone needs to approve you, I will let that time slot slide. Hopefully it's not going to take a long time. But if you are trying to create a team, you are going to be kicked out after 3 p.m. Sorry, I'm thinking in my own time zone. After 4 p.m. Eastern Time, that is when you're going to be kicked out from creating or modifying teams. This is going to be finalized, and as of right now, there's not a lot of drivers on teams, but if you want to contend for team points and try to go for that little addition to a driver's title, then all power to you, but you got to make sure you do it in the next couple days. So Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, April 12th, is the deadline before all teams are locked in And if you're not on a team, then you're an independent, and that's just how it's going to go. And that is going to do it. So, based on the information I've given you, you can probably determine that I have not actually run any races yet so far. The Nfrn Clash at Columbia will be scheduled for within the next week. That is what I will say. There will be a promotional that will give you the exact date, and that is when the stream's going to happen. But within the next week, that is what I'm going to give you. I've got a lot of things I want to take care of that will involve the entire season, a lot of video packages and stuff like that. So I'm making sure everything's perfected before we get into our first broadcast, and before I put it out there and try to sell myself short on time, because I have done that a lot in Season 1, where I gave myself live streams which were the chase cutoff dates, and I was exporting right up until the stream. So I'm trying to avoid that, and hopefully things will go a lot more smooth when we get to that time. But that is going to do it. I have talked for way longer than I thought I was going to, so this has actually been a longer video than I expected. But that is the lowdown. Important deadlines, you gotta meet them. 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesday, April 12th. That is your date to remember. So, I can't really tell you what amount of time. That's like 36 some hours. Maybe 40, 42, something like that. I'm not good at math right on the dot, but go sign up right now so you don't miss it. And that's going to do it for us. Good evening. That sounded just like I started it. Have a good rest of your night. If you're watching it at night. Although you could be watching it in the morning if you go to bed at like 8. We'll see y'all later.